So let's go back to that case, because it's in your list. I remember seeing it there. So you've got this situation that someone, they've not just got a really serious problem, but you've got the situation that you've done all the soul retrieval and you've got all the lost parts and all the negative energies being released or whatever. There's something else going on there. Don't you ever get a situation when you can't do it all? So this is the answer. The answer is, and it's funny because I trained my partner in northwest Spain to do this for me years after I've been doing this for other people. So I've been doing all this work for these years, and I never got it myself because I hadn't trained anyone to do it at that point. When I trained her to do this work for me, she, with her guides and her helpers and my guides and my helpers, created this incredible modality. There was a soul part of mine that was not lost, it was imprisoned. It was imprisoned by what I would call I would call them black magicians, for want of a better word. So these black magicians had imprisoned one of my soul parts, and it was experiencing horrific suffering. I won't go into the details. When she found this is how this whole process got worked out, and the angels came in. I haven't mentioned the other beings I work with. I also work with the archangels, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael and Oriel. I also work with the Saint Germain. I've also worked with the Christ consciousness. Whatever comes in is what's required. And what happened is that the guides DL and Narbeth with the big staff came in. They burst down the doors because that soul part was being tormented in a region that was shut off completely. So they burst in together with Archangel Michael, and they made this space safe. And then the healing was done on that incredibly suffering soul part, and all the soul parts that refused to come back, because they refused to come back until this one had been found. They then lined themselves up inside the tunnel created by the worm, and the soul part was first of all passed by my guide Ayahuasca to the first soul part, and to the second, all the way along until they reached a place where the soul parts arrive when they've been recovered. And that was such an exciting moment when that traumatized soul part was actually brought back through with all the rest and arrived in this safe place, and all the other soul parts joined it. It was such a rejoicing. It was amazing. So I would say probably between 5 and 10% of the time I get a client that's had this. And I had one not long ago, and it wasn't like one soul part that was in prison. There was actually quite a lot. We did it all at the same time in pretty much the same method. So whatever problem arises, a modality is created either by the helpers or by the guides to address that issue. And it's something that most people don't think about. There's a lot of dodgy stuff has gone on in the history of this planet, and a lot of people have been subjected to bad treatment by what I would call black magicians. They're people who deliberately go out to harm someone, and one of the most harmful things you can do is to do something to a person that then perpetuates after the life. If you do something in this lifetime, that's one thing, but if it perpetuates after, and that was the case with me and the case of the people that I work with in this way, which is why we call it the healing of lifetimes. It's not just this lifetime. I forgot to say that.
This is, yeah, there are two things actually which came into my mind that I asked you this.
Yes.
I think the last or the previous meetup after we had a chat.
Okay.
And I asked you what if the unbending intent is bad, and then
Exactly. So the question: what if someone's got a bad unbending intent? They become categorized as a black magician, dark magician.
yeah, and what if this is something unconscious? I'm not sure if I asked it.
No, this is a very good thing. Right, I'm going to give you a beautiful example of this. The person who edits all films was told on his wedding day by his mother, "You shall experience poverty, and this shall be an unsuccessful union." So what she did there is she unconsciously chose to be a black magician. She was literally like the dark fairy in the fairy tales, and all these lovely gifts are being given to the baby, and then suddenly this terrible gift gets presented and the whole palace goes to sleep, whatever it is. This is what his reality was. This is what was done to him and to his newly wedded wife. I don't personally feel that she did that deliberately to destroy her son's life. However, she did do that. So yes. So this is why shamans are very careful about the power of the word. We are very careful about the kind of jokes we make. A lot of jokes made by people in this society are not funny. They're actually quite sick, and they're actually unconscious dark magic being practiced without the person realizing it. So yes, a lot of people misuse the power of the word unconsciously. Some people actually train to be dark magicians and go out to hurt people. That's what they consider to be fun, for whatever reason. Yes, and also I should make it very clear that there are parts of the world where if someone does something to upset you, you can go to a dark magician and you can pay some money and they will do something to ruin that person's life. And this happened to someone I know very well. His life was ruined for over 30 years by something that was done in a different country.
But you can, if this person, for example, would go to you,
yes,
please help me,
yes,
this happened to me,
yes,
then you can start the healing.
For us, it's straightforward. There's no problem about it at all. For us, it's like normal, everyday stuff. So no matter how extreme it might sound, actually, it's just routine for us. However, every case is different. Every case you learn something new, but it's not unexpected. It's normal. Yeah.
I wouldn't like to go into very deep into USR, but just another time, because it's such an interesting and huge topic, I think.
Go on.
But you mentioned regarding that I think it was a lady, and you just mentioned that you needed to get back that lost soul part from a very, very distant part.
Oh yes, from a place outside of what I could understand, yes.
Yeah, you mentioned it regarding your helpers, but what I noticed is that you also mentioned that the other soul parts accepted it. So does it happen that the other soul parts doesn't want to accept?
That's a very good question. So let me get that clear. So what you're asking is, the job of a shaman, one of the main jobs is to go off journeying to find all the traumatic events which caused a packet of that person's energy to be left behind in some place in space-time, and to bring that packet back, that packet of energy, that soul part. So supposing all the soul parts have been done, but there was one that had been experiencing terrible things with dark magicians, could it be that some of the soul parts would look at one of the other soul parts and say, no thank you? The answer is incredibly simple. As soon as you leave behind the confines of this planet, universal unconditional love is the prevailing ethos and energy. The idea of a soul part not wanting another soul part to come back, it's not something that they can conceive of. It's like, you know, they'd be like, well, the guides are just sitting around. They think it's hilarious. They're just slapping the ground, laughing, and it's like it's one of the funniest questions they've ever been asked. So I really appreciate. It's now something different, you know.
Right.
Yes.
And maybe they will laugh about this one.
Go on. Well, they like a laugh, especially DL. He loves a laugh.
How many soul parts? Is it a constant number?
For the first several years that I did universal soul retrieval, every client used to get in the report a precise number of soul parts. The first one that was ever done was over 150 soul parts, and
How many, sorry?
over 150.
Okay.
And within a very short space of time, what happens is, as a shaman, the people that are attracted to work with you are the people who've got particular issues you can relate to. So this thing about the trauma, I need to explain. I had so many lost soul parts. It was like a huge number. So I very rapidly attracted people with huge numbers of soul parts. When I got like many thousands, 10,000, more than 20,000, there really wasn't any point in counting anymore. So what you need to remember is that the way that we work in our tradition is we're not looking at soul parts in this lifetime, we're looking at soul parts in any and all lifetimes. Now if you're talking about human beings having many lives, the fact you might have 10, 20, 50,000 soul parts, that's pretty reasonable when you think about it. So after some years, the guide said, you don't need that, that's not relevant. But it was very useful in my journeyman. in my early practice to understand visibly over and over again. If you watch the very first USR film on YouTube, you will discover the modality that was used at that time. That modality is not used anymore, but that was how the number of soul parts was recorded. It was very precise. Yeah, it was great learning, but ultimately a person doesn't care whether they got 1,000 or 20,000 or 300,000. It's just, come on, give me myself back. Yeah.
Is it that when you do universal soul retrieval, the aim is to get a complete soul in the end, to retrieve all the lost parts?
The aim is, or the intention which is manifested, is to retrieve all soul parts that have been lost through all traumatic experiences in all lifetimes. Yes, that is the purpose. Yes. And the reason why I'm so emphatic about that is because when I was training, and we were working together with each other as fellow practitioners, fellow apprentices, I was getting one at a time back. And I just knew that I'd experienced such an astronomical amount of trauma in this lifetime, never mind about the others, but also 2 years after I started my training, I then spent 3 months working on myself, and I discovered, oh my goodness me, you didn't know about that amount of... So yeah, so it was pure self-interest. I know I'm having such an issue about having so much of my totality missing. I need to get it back. So that was the drive behind realizing that that's not just me. So someone in a conventional situation, they go to a shaman, get one back, or maybe 5, I could get 10 back, go back another month later. Can you see? It's like going to a psychotherapist or a psychologist or certain other practitioners. A lot of healing practitioners, what they want is a client that comes back every month or every week. They earn huge amounts of money. The whole point about the universal soul retrieval is it's usually all done in one session, maximum 4 sessions. So what I'm saying is our way of working is you don't earn much money because you get the results pretty fast, and that is not a common way of working. Yeah,
but that's not your basis.
Exactly. In terms of our practice, the money is not relevant, but I'm just reminding myself that for a lot of practitioners, what they want is a regular income. We want to become unemployed. Our job ultimately is to become unemployed and to sit back and think, right, we've done it. Human race is sorted. And that's the big picture that we're all working. I would say all healers who are really tuned into their hearts. That's the aim, to become unemployed as quickly as possible.
I like this as a closing answer.
Thank you very much. We did it. Hey, thank you.